Welcome to Taking Care of Business on Kern Radio Newstalk, 1180 for the best in Saturday talk radio with your host Clay Kerner, and I'm Marty Pay. Clay, incredible show last weekend with Orion Sanders and Jeremy Statt.
It was, and keep in mind we're also on Wednesdays now too.
That's right, on 1410 KERI. I got to spend some time with Jeremy during the week. He's a great guy, and we're going to have him and Wesley on very, very soon. I'm really looking forward to that. Speaking of Memorial Day, I was at the unveiling of the Wall of Valor on Saturday. It was a very moving program. And one thing I couldn't believe they were talking about, Clay, is that that's the only kind of dedication of a wall of any kind like that dedicated to killed in action in all of California. Can you believe that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's there's something wrong with that. Sunday, I got to go to the ceremony at the Veterans Cemetery in Arvin, and you got to love this county. I can't believe how many people were out there in the cold and the rain, but, people in Kern County sure love their veterans.
Well, I was at the beach.
Well, I'm
a veteran, so I have a right to do that.
This is true. Well, Clay, we have firmed up our guest for next week. And let me give you a preview of who our guest is next week.
Let me tell you about Ahab, the Arab, the sheik of the burning sand. They had emeralds and rubies just dripping off of him, had a ring on every finger of his hand.
So it's somebody from the Middle East.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Osama bin... Never mind. Ray Stevens, the author of Ahab the Arab, Guitar Man, The Streak, and the classic song, Everybody's Beautiful. So we're going to have him on next week, and that's going to be a very, very fun show. I'm really looking forward to that.
That'll be exciting.
Yeah, that'll be great. But today we have two special guests. In the second half hour, we have Russ Allred from Sunbelt Advisors talking about small business and business development. But in the first half, we have a very special guest, our city councilman from Ward 1, our very, very own Rudy Salas. Rudy, welcome to Taking Care of Business.
All right, thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
Rudy, this is a treat for us because normally we don't have Democrats on the show. We usually have a liberal Democrat stuffed in the corner on display.
I have invited several of my Democrat friends to come on, and none of them will do it.
And Rudy actually asked to be on the show. Can you believe that?
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. But see, he's newly elected, so he doesn't know us that well.
He doesn't know the rules.
Yeah, I'm still learning. Maybe I'm giving you guys a shot here.
Okay,
this
Rudy.
Is our shot at the big time.
I am pleased to see you here today. I know I ran into Rudy one day at a restaurant. He was wearing this shirt that said Rudy Salas, and I said, "Are you Rudy Salas?" And he looked at me like, "Didn't you read the shirt?"
Rudy, you've got a pretty impressive resume. You went to UCLA.
Yes.
Sorry about that. I apologize, since I'm a big SC fan. What did you do in the Clinton administration?
Well, when I worked at the White House, I did work for the Clinton administration. I actually worked for Al Gore, Office of the Vice President. So I was able to had this really cool badge that gave me access to Capitol Hill and the White House.
I know, because I've noticed your computer here, how efficient that is. You helped Al Gore invent the internet.
Absolutely. I'd love to take credit for that, but unfortunately I can't. But
okay.
Did you have any responsibility for global warming?
Global warming?
Yeah, I thought Al was talking about global warming too.
Oh yeah, that's when his movie came out after he lost Bush. But yeah. I think we're all contributing to global warming. I think we're all still driving around and probably not biking as much as we should be.
Yes, that's my thing. So, and then you went to work for Dean Flores as the...
Yes, but before I worked for Dean, I actually worked for an assembly member out of Los Angeles, up in Sacramento. Mm-hmm. Then I worked for Senator Flores, had budget bills, done budget augmentations, bringing millions of dollars back into Kern County, various different programs, things like clean school buses, right? The expansion over on Highway 46, turn that into expressway if you go out to the coast in the summer because it gets really hot here. Carried bills that have been signed by the governor. Actually did one, since we're talking about veterans, did a DVBE bill. So that veterans have a equal shot, and more of a shot actually, at getting some of the state contracts. So I've done that as well, and then ended as his district director. So
I was really surprised that Dean wasn't appointed to a position by Governor Brown, because he seemed to really be active in the state and really went after people that weren't doing things correctly.
Yeah, he's a real watchdog, really go-getter, not afraid to step on some toes and get things done. But at the same time, that also scares some some established politicians, I guess. They can't really control someone like that. Someone that's going to go and seek out the truth and really take it, go down the rabbit hole as far as it'll go and really find out what the real answers are.
We're having a conversation with City Council member Rudy Salas.
Now, Dean was also a UCLA graduate, is that correct?
He was.
And I think he was student body president.
Yes, he was.
He had quite a resume when he came. When I was in college, I was also a student body president, and I'm not in politics.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you got a future goal here. And
you think?
Getting into
at
politics.
My age?
Yeah, but Clay, that was PS 101, wasn't it? Wasn't that? So, Rudy, one thing that actually I think we had Mike Bowers in here. We were talking about redistricting, and that's when you gave Mike and I a call and talked about possibly being on the show. Redistricting, how do you see it compared to the way we were looking at it on the show? Do you see it differently?
Well, I'm supposed to agree with you. That way you guys don't hammer me. But
no. We'll go easy on you. It's your first time here. We'll wait till you're here the second time.
No, redistricting, I think it needs to be communities, right? I don't think it makes any sense to have a coastal city in with the Central Valley like we do with some of our districts right now. To me, the coast has their own issues that I think are very separate from the Central Valley. Central Valley communities should be together. Mm-hmm. We shouldn't see things where you see like Shafter and Wasco split up when everyone that grows up there considers each other like sister cities. That seems very wrong to me. It's the same thing, like we shouldn't split up Arvin and Lamont.
Sure. Well, let me ask you a question about that, because at that redistricting meeting, the bottom line for the people that were there were a lot of people from the Latino community. Mm-hmm. And by the way, I want to congratulate you on being the first Latino elected to the city council in 100 years. There's something wrong with the fact that it's taken this long, but that's a whole other subject. But anyways, their bottom line was they wanted to leave things the way they were, but if you separate, say, an Arvin from a Shafter, which makes sense, are the people in, say, Shafter and Delano, how are they going to be represented? Because there's not enough people there to really make a separate district. They're going to end up with North Bakersfield or
Correct.
Tulare
Everyone's
County.
Going to have a part of Bakersfield, because Bakersfield is just the largest city in Kern County, but Delano is the second largest city. Mm-hmm. So the thing is the question I get a lot is like, look, what is the ethnic breakup of Bakersfield? How many Latinos are there? Do they have that? Is that reflected in the electorate? Mm-hmm. And, the short answer is no.
No, I didn't have a question, Marty. I just want to hear what you had to say more about that.
Correct. So, but, the thing is when I ran my campaign, I didn't run based on ethnicity. I didn't run on the fact that I was Latino or that we were trying to go after history. It was really about local issues, right? Making sure that the police show up when you call 911. Make sure the fire department comes if your house is on fire. Making sure that the streets are taken care of. And that's what we ran on. Went out, worked really hard, and just talked to folks. And in all honesty, it's the area I grew up in.
How many people ran in your election?
We had a spirited race in my election. We had 6 candidates, which I think is probably, I think from all the people I talked statewide, I mean, it was one of the most contended races.
Did you have a runoff?
No, it was...
You won right out in the first
correct.
time out. Well, I saw some interesting comments that were made when you were running. They said, Ward 1 has suffered from tired leadership for too long. We need a champion. That was one comment that was made. Then another one was, I'm glad someone is looking out for the people of color in Ward 1. Never mind the evil white people in the districts. These were people that were supporting you.
Oh,
I
were
found
they?
that very interesting. It was on your Facebook page.
On my Facebook page.
Wow.
So, and then it went on to say, it said, in the past, Carson did a good job, but pushed only for the black community of Ward 1.
Oh, you know what? That wasn't on my... It was a link that I put on the Facebook page, but it was a Bakersfield Californian article.
Oh.
And the comments were on the Bakersfield Californian. But yeah, so they weren't exactly, per se, say my supporters. They were just whoever commented on the Bakersfield Californian article online. But like I said, I mean, we didn't run our race based on race. It was really just about local issues. And, I do have a diverse ward. And so, obviously, I'm going to represent everybody. I've done that with whites, Anglos, African-American, the Latino, the Indian community as well.
Well, here's another comment I had. I really like this one. It says, he has morals, goals, is an overall caring person. I believe Rudy Salas will be for the equality of all hope for, but has long been a top priority in Ward 1.
So he has no history in politics? Or
That
no
was
future
Rudy
in
Salas
politics?
Sr.
Maybe I should have got my dad to make a couple of comments on there. It might have been really good.
Great.
Oh, I just wanted to find out, if you knew about these comments that were made and what your comment was about them.
Well, let's do this. Let's come back from the break, and then, Rudy, you can address those, okay? We're having a conversation with City Councilman Rudy Salas on taking care of business on Kern Radio Newstalk 1180.